Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Her World running on the Steam Deck, which had to actually hard reboot that Steam Deck, or actually went through a cold reboot. It just was not coming back after whatever the hell it did before. Let's see, did I have quests that I needed to do? I don't think so. Pretty sure we've done all these too. Very fortunate for me, after gathering up some shards, I was able to pass through the point that had blocked me. If I had tried doing this in the rainy world, I might have been able to open the doors. But that was a thought for another time. We looked down the stairs. The shadow students who had been trying to follow us up the stairs were blocked, as if there was a glass wall down there. Those things. Are you sure they can't get through?
네.
I carefully set Yuri down. I took off my backpack too and set it next to her. I saw the shadow students rubbing their whole bodies against the transparent walls, pushed by those behind them. There were quite a few of them that looked like Yuri. Were we really fine here? While she said they couldn't get through, the uneasy expression on her face said otherwise. Why didn't you just run up here in the first place?
오빠한테 안전지대 가르쳐주기 싫어서요.
Of course you didn't.
아야, 오빠가 부러뜨린 어깨가 아파.
For the last time, it's not broken.
가해자가 할 소리예요?
Sorry. Yuri carefully moved her pathetically drooping arm to let it hang. Her whole body was trembling. It doesn't really hurt that bad.
아, 됐어요. 덕분에 살았으니까. 끌려 들어갔으면 이 정도로 안 끝나요. 참나. 무섭게 쫓아올 땐 언제고 갑자기 왜 구해주고 난리래?
Why'd you have to go and look all pathetic at the last second?
내가 불쌍해요?
She clenched her teeth once more. It looked like she was in a lot of pain. The shadow students piled in as if there were more pushing in from behind. It looked like they were about to pour out towards us at any moment. So we just have to sit like this? We should be getting you to a hot...
안 가요. 난 여기서 안 나가요.
You already cut me off. Really? Hey, are you perhaps stuck here too?
아니거든요? 그 언니랑 똑같이 취급하지 마요. 난 갇혀있는 게 아니라 일부러 안 나가고 있는 거니까.
You really want to live in a place like this?
바깥보단 나아요. 누가 방해만 안 하면.
Was this puberty talking? It always seemed like there was one in every class. The thuds reverberated through the stairwell.
한 30분 지나면 다 사라질 거예요. 저렇게 많이 나오는 건 처음 보지만.
So we're just waiting now?
네, 뭐.
All those hands and feet sticking through and writhing. The way Yuri kept looking at them out of the corner of her eye was disconcerting. I sat down with a thud, protecting Yuri with my body. What?
아니요, 그냥...
Looked at Yuri, who was still trembling a bit. 30 minutes, huh? That's enough time for her to be straight with me. Hey, Yuri.
뭐요?
So, you figured I was in cahoots with Yona, huh? And that's why you attacked me?
네.
But since I decided to help her out, I'm actually in cahoots with her. So really, I guess you didn't make a mistake, huh? Ah, well then, I guess I shouldn't have saved you.
오빤 그런 거 내버려두는 사람 아니잖아요.
How would you know what sort of person I am? I mean, what makes you think I'm a pushover anyway?
호구.
Curiously, Yuri was starting to look a little relieved as she poked fun at me. Her arm was still dangling from her shoulder, but her mouth worked just fine. Do you have some sort of beef with Hyuna? Before, I believe you said that was about 1/3 correct.
오, 기억하네요.
As if I ignored people?
근데 오빠한테 말하기 싫어요.
Did you catch her saying something behind your back? Did she steal your boyfriend away?
아니, 왜 내가 뺏기는 쪽이라고 생각해요?
Then what is it? Yuri thought about that for a moment.
그 언니를 그냥 두면
She rubbed her arm as if the pain there had suddenly flared up.
날 밖으로 내보내려 할 테니까.
She gave me a smirk as she said that. She'll try to kick you out of here?
네,
Sounded to me like she wanted to get out herself. Why would she worry about you too?
그래서 날 내보낸다는 거예요.
Huh? I had no idea what she was trying to say. Did kids these days normally beat around the bush like this?
그 언니가 여기 갇혀버린 이유가 한계점이란 게 나눠졌기 때문이라면서요.
Yuri bent over and started drawing on the floor. She put a few dots in a rectangle, then divided it with a few lines. The picture was similar to the one Hyuna had drawn. However, this one had 2 boundaries blocking the path. No way. Was she able to see Hyuna's explanation from a mirror or something? You're pretty much a stalker, huh?
촉법 소년이니까 해도 돼요.
Don't be ridiculous. But Yuri herself also seemed the type to be setting up boundaries. Just look at how the school was divided up. In addition to Wooby's rain world, there was another world.
나랑 그 꼬맹이 때문에 한계점이 생겨서 막혀있는 거라는데 거길 통과하려면 어떻게 해야겠어요? 도로 내보내야지. 그럼 한계점 자체가 없어질 테니까.
I don't think it follows that they'll just disappear. She could just pass through real quick.
무슨 수로요?
Yuri looked up at me. I refused to look away, so we stared at each other. I guess you stopped your stalking just in time to not hear the end. There's a way. If we're gonna do it.
오빠가 한계점 너머로 들어가서 거기 있는 파편을 모아주면 된다고요? 그러면 여길 지나갈 수 있다고?
She did know then. She must have stuck around to the end.
그 말이 진짜일까요? 증명된 적 있어요?
She said she tested it with someone else.
그걸 오빠가 봤냐고요?
I didn't have a response for that. Hyona's not that type of person to lie.
거짓말한 건 아니라 치고요. 잘못 안 거라면? 오빠가 그 모든 걸 다 해줬는데도 그 언니가 나갈 수 없으면? 그 다음엔 그 언니가 뭘 시킬까요?
What are you getting at? Yuri lifted her good arm to point out the window. Everything was a wreck, but again, it was preserved like that in this unnatural state. It was like someone had intentionally set up an apocalypse-like horrorscape.
애초에 여기가 어딘지 누가 알아요? 뭔지도 모르는데 혼자서 망상하며 해놓은 분석에 불과하잖아요. 충분히 틀릴 수 있다고 생각해요.
Then you're saying you know what this place is.
그러게요.
She thought for a moment.
이상한 게 나오고 아는 장소만 갈 수 있고 마음에 상처가 있으면 다른 세계가 생기고 비슷한 건 하나밖에 없잖아요.
What's that?
꿈이요.
A dream? What are you even talking about?
꿈이란 건 어디까지나 내 기억과 내면 심리를 기초로 구현되는 거잖아요.
Even you know that much, right? Yuri tacked on at the end.
마음에 상처가 있으면 악몽을 꿀 거고 거기선 무서운 것도 나오겠죠. 무엇보다 다른 사람이 꾸는 꿈에 내가 들어갈 순 없잖아요. 그게 한계점이겠죠.
What she said made sense.
그 언니가 오빠에게 시킨 건 나나 그 꼬맹이의 내면 세계를 알아내라고 한 거나 다름없어요. 꿈이라고 생각해보면 아마 그렇게 해서 이쪽으로 들어올 순 있을 거예요. 근데 그 다음은? 만약 그러고도 탈출할 수 없다면 그 언니가 그 다음엔 뭘 시킬까?
We'll think about that when we reach.
저기 오빠, 그 언니가 실패할 경우의 계획을 안 세워둘 사람이에요?
In order to escape this world, Yuna had to cross that boundary, and that boundary was set up by Yuri and Wooby. If she weren't able to pass through, even after being made aware of the landscape and happenings inside the boundaries, well then.
날 억지로 내보내려 들겠죠. 그때쯤 여기론 자유롭게 들어올 수 있게 되었을 테니까. 근데 적어도 난 마지막까지 절대로 안 나가고 버틸 건데 그때는
Yuri's voice, it got lower than I'd ever heard it before. She took on this strange air that reminded me of Yuna. Hey, come on now.
뻔하지 않아요? 나나 그 꼬마를 죽이라고 할걸?
She had an eerie smile on her face as she said that. For a moment there, my mind was a blank slate. And then, with a sound like breaking glass, one of the bloody students who had been pressed up against the barrier, it came right for me. You piece of... I sent a merciless kick in the direction of the bloodied student, standing there limply. The difference in weight and power was overwhelming. The thing's neck twisted around and it went rolling down the stairs. There were more, however, crawling through the hole that opened up. What? You said they couldn't get through.
원래는 못 들어왔어요.
Then what's this now? Yuri tottered backward. She knocked into a mirror behind her, but nothing happened. I kicked away all the students climbing towards us. Despite my efforts, there were more coming in droves, more and more with each wave. Others were making their way slowly down the stairs above us, too. Was every way out blocked? They're everywhere. I backed away as far as I could while still keeping Yuri behind me. If these were real people I was facing, all I'd have to do was beat the living daylights out of one in the front of the pack, and the rest would scatter with their tails between their legs. But even with how slowly the students were crawling in, I wouldn't be able to hold out for longer than a few minutes.
제발.
Yuri was pounding frantically on the mirror. It was like she was trying to break through. This one didn't show our reflections. It showed a scene far different from this one. Huh? Hey kid, move.
네?
I said move. I shoved Yuri to the side and peered into the mirror. In that hallway before, I'd seen a space that looked quite familiar. This one was more than just familiar. It was one of the hallways in the hospital, the place where Hyuna existed. Come to think of it, every time I saw Yuri at the hospital, it was in some sort of reflective surface. There are surfaces that show our reflections and those that don't. So, what if the ones that don't show us are connected to the world with the hospital? It all fit. This girl was using the mirrors in this world to spy on Hyuna and I. The mirrors that didn't show our reflections were all boundaries. I tried putting my hand into the mirror. My fingertips passed straight through. It was the same sensation as crossing through the previous boundary. I grabbed my backpack from where it was leaning against the mirror, held it up, and pushed it through. It went inside without any resistance. Whoa, it went straight through. Speaking of which, that other time, she was able to reach through and lock the door. Then, was she able to get through too?
못 넘어가요.
Yuri just managed to squeeze out a yell. You did it before. You stuck a hand through and locked the door.
아니 그게... 아 진짜...
No, wait.
저 그런 거 열 줄 모르는데요?
Back then, Yuri was on the other side of the glass, but she was only reaching up. Then, Yuri, that day, was the door already locked? Did you just pretend to lock it? Or no, were you actually trying to open it and couldn't? Yuri looked like she had something to say. She wanted to speak, but she couldn't get her mouth open. She gripped her miserably limp arm. It seemed like she was trying to stand up on her own, no matter the cost. Then her legs went shaky and she flopped to the floor again. It looked like even moving was painful now. Then I noticed that what Yuri was wearing on her feet, her white sneakers. They looked so familiar. Not red rain boots or bloody feet. For just a second, I thought I might have seen white sneakers. Come to think of it, who was it that gave me that door code? Ah. Was that why she said she'd already apologized before? Was saving my life her way of calling it even? Was she trying to get me to notice without showing off? Or was that her way of apologizing and getting her feelings in order without having to swallow her pride? Young people these days. Why is it so hard to understand them? Yuri couldn't speak a word. She just sat there trembling, face turned away. So right then, I was the only one able to escape through that mirror. I could see it on her face, showing up when she did, but not having been the one to lock the door, saying that it was her who saved me in the rainy world. She thought I would never believe a word of it. Suddenly I got furious. Why was she holding on to her pride in such a dire situation? Hey!
네?
I strode up to the nearest bloody student, gave it a hard kick and sent it flying. Then I grabbed Yuri's arm. I'm going to secure your arm. This is going to hurt.
뭐야? 뭐예요?
I positioned her arm in an L shape, then I secured it with the jacket hanging down her shoulders. Yuri.
지금 대체...
I'm going to carry you.
뭐야?
I lifted her up. Hold your injured arm with the other. If you let it dangle, it's only going to get more inflamed.
아니, 잠깐만. 지금 무슨... 아니...
You said not to yell. From behind us, from above, from below. The shadowy students were all crawling this way. They were so slow, but they were definitely filling up the place.
오빠! 어쩌려고요? 나 데리고 있으면 오빠도 못 넘어가요.
I grabbed the bare skin of Yuri's arm and tried to remember the feeling of giving the shards to Hyuna.
오빠, 이거...
Shards from the hospital. Do you know how to take them? I had spent most of the time in the hospital, so I had collected more fragments from there than anywhere else. If someone could cross the barrier from there after getting fragments, it only made sense that the reverse was true. I wondered what might happen if that weren't the case, but it wasn't like we had much of a choice. Was I even wondering what might happen? Of course. Or why was I even wondering what might happen? Of course we'd die. I transferred the shards quickly, like back when Booby stole some. With Yuri still in my arms, I took a deep breath. I rushed at the window. It would either let me through or shatter to pieces. I was hit with that resistance, like the winds of a typhoon slamming straight into me, the same feeling I was getting used to of crossing over the boundary. I gripped my teeth, held Yuri tight, and took a step forward. It hurt. It pushed me back. It lashed against me, as if it had sensed something that didn't belong. Stop freaking out. Who cares? It felt like the last set of squats after 2 hours of lower body work. I felt like I could hear my coach yelling, "One more!" once the bar was up off the rack. And then the resistance suddenly melted away, and Yuri and I were sent rolling to the floor.
거봐. 저러면 되는 걸.
We were back in the destroyed hospital surrounded by clutter and decay. However, now it felt as comfortable as my home. At the very least, it was better than that haunted mansion in the shape of a school. Yuri had become strangely quiet and docile. She looked like she didn't have the energy to yell, watch where you're touching, or the like. I took the opportunity to check her shoulder again. It looked like an anterior dislocation. Are you sure you don't want to go to a proper hospital?
난 여기서 안 나간다니까요.
Then we'll just have to do it here.
네?
I forced Yuri to lay on her stomach on the hospital bed. Then I pulled her dislocated arm down.
아니, 잠깐만요. 오빠?
Yuri was coming to and realizing what was about to happen. However, she was already too late.
지금 뭐하는?
I gave her that warm smile of mine.
안 돼요. 하지 마세요. 오빠 잠깐만. 내가 미안해. 진짜 미안. 아니, 안 돼요. 그만. 진짜 아파.
Yuri let out the scream so loud you'd think I was murdering the girl. I had just hung a heavy bag from her hand. She was being quite the crybaby, though. Sorry, was it bad?
진짜.
Just relax. Let your arm hang. Don't move.
이게 뭐하는 짓이에요?
It'll pull your arm back into the socket.
어딜 봐서요?
It's called the Stimson technique. Google it. Just stay like that for 30 seconds. As the muscles naturally relax, everything will just slide back into place.
뭐 그렇게 오래?
Would you like to file a complaint?
아니,
Yuri was glaring at me with a suspicious look in her eye.
영화 보면 한 방에 우드득 하면서 고치잖아요.
You prefer that method? Want me to do it that way?
아니요.
For dislocations, just popping it back in like the movie showed what was out of the question. That was simply not the suggested method of treatment for normal people. A real hospital probably would have been the right move, but we had no other choice and she didn't want to go. But hey, didn't I just dislocate it when I pulled you out? Why do you have all these marks that make you look like you were chewed up and spat out? It looked like she'd been bitten hard by a large set of molars. It was as though I'd pulled her right out before she was crushed in someone's jaws. The marks were on her arm that had... Wait, the marks were on the arm that had disappeared into the mirror. They looked like rather superficial wounds, but I had a feeling she'd narrowly avoided a much worse ending there. Now that she was sitting still, I was able to get a good look.
거울 안쪽. 자세히 안 봤죠?
Nope.
부럽네요. 더 깊이 들어갔으면 어땠을지.
Hey, stop trying to scare me. Yuri got quiet again. She reached into her pocket with her free hand, pulled out her smartphone, and swiped around the screen. This was a world cut off from data and phone calls. What was she doing that was so much fun? I peeked over her shoulder and saw that she was writing something on a note app. Was that her diary?
아이, 보지 마요.
What are you writing?
알아서 뭐 하게요. 나한테 관심 있어요?
Not a chance. I got up. Yuri put down her phone and adjusted her skirt. She kept trying to bend the arm that was out of its socket. Could you please just let it hang? I straightened out the tiny curve in her arm.
오빠! 좀! 진짜! 족법소년한테 이래도 되는 거예요?
Do we even know the specifics of juvenile law? Did she know that the law only applied to 10 to 14-year-olds in Korea?
오빠는 소년법 덕 좀 봤을 것 같은데?
What sort of cases?
하는 짓이요.
Huh. Can kids these days carry on a conversation without the sass?
할 수 있죠? 근데 오빠한테 왜?
You little... I started looking around for a permanent marker nearby so I could doodle on Yuri while she was immobile. Yuri stared blankly at me before looking away. Then her gaze settled on a small mirror on one wall. She saw her reflection there. She looked at herself in the mirror for a second. What she saw must have surprised her. She mimed cutting her bangs with one hand. Even with short hair, her curls had no chance of coming through that typhoon in any passable state. The state of her uncut, unkempt hair seemed to bother her. I pretended not to see and focused on my search for a permanent marker. Oh, maybe I should leave for a minute. Right when I turned to leave, she grabbed the hole of my shirt. Hey. What's up? I looked down at her.
이쪽 보지 마요.
Yuri turned away. Why? Because your hair's so messy?
짜증나.
With such curly hair as that, keeping it all straight is no easy.
눈치채도 모른 척 해주는 배려심이 없어요?
I lived like that for a whole year. I don't think that style of living suits me. I flashed her a smirk of my own. You feel me? Be sure to pay close attention. After all, I'm your elder.
아, 미쳤어. 꼰대질 하려나 봐.
Whether there's something you want from someone or you've done something good without them knowing. Don't wait for them to notice. Just speak up. Take credit for it. If you don't and the other person doesn't notice, don't let those feelings pile up and don't let them get you down, please. The way you helped me in that rainy world, the fact that it wasn't you who locked the door in the other one.
뭐야, 다 눈치챘으면서.
What were you going to do if I never found out? What if I just went through the mirror alone and left you there, huh?
아, 몰라요. 눈치 없는 쪽이 잘못이지.
The hurt would have come down on you, though. Me too, really.
그럼 오빠만 쓰레기 되는 거죠.
You always have to have the last word. Yuri turned the other way. Her hand was still holding onto my shirt. Why was she not letting me go? For a time, our conversation stalled, and time passed by slowly. To keep the awkward feelings at bay, I took a few items out of my backpack to see if they still worked. This one works, this one too. They were a few simple but important things as well. Things I hadn't taken out of the packing yet for some reason. Why was it that some things still worked while others didn't? Oh well. It's almost back in place.
네?
I got up off the bed and grabbed Yuri's extended arm.
오빠?
I removed the bag from her hand. She hurriedly rolled away, putting her hand back to the wall.
또 왜 이래요?
She grabbed hold of her arm, looking terrified. Then she looked absolutely shocked as she tested the arm, which was now back in its socket.
진짜 나네?
You should trust people more. She swung her arm around in circles. Stop spinning it.
나왔다며요!
The joint is probably inflamed. I picked up a compression bandage that was lying nearby, then I moved closer to Yuri.
오빠?
I grabbed hold of Yuri and started wrapping the joint. She struggled for a second before calming down and letting me work. Good. Kids should listen to their elders. I tightly bandaged the affected area, then she put her jacket on over it. You should refrain from moving that arm for a while. Since you're here, you should really go to an actual hospital.
안 나간다니까.
If you keep dislocating your shoulder, it will actually come out of the socket easier.
오빠 의대생이에요?
She checked me out with a different gleaming in her eyes. Engineering.
아, 뭐야?
Her gaze turned sharp again. Naturally.
그럼 이런 건 어디서 배웠어요?
It comes with the territory when you learn jujitsu from a bunch of territorial older men. If you don't know, you just have to suffer the consequences. Yuri looked like she didn't quite understand. She gave me a judging look. I carried her back through the boundary the same way we'd gone through the first time. The school hallway was deserted and silent once more, a welcome sight after all the bloodied students. You couldn't see the school side very well from the hospital side. I was only able to see Yuri like she was being reflected in the mirror. Will you really be alright?
웨이브 한번 지나갔으니까 괜찮아요.
A wave? There are beds over here though.
내 생활 공간 정도는 갖춰놨으니까 걱정 마요.
What exactly did that look like? Had she fashioned a bed out of a bunch of desks?
무엇보다 오빠가 가버리면 이쪽으로 돌아올 수도 없고 그 언니한테 걸리면 큰일 나니까.
Has Miss Hyuna hurt you before?
아니요. 거울 속에서 일방적으로 보고 들었죠.
So she really was a stalker, huh? Too much. Was she just being too quick to judge Hyuna for always carrying a knife around with her? But you haven't even had a conversation with her.
그 언니가 무슨 생각하는지 대충은 알 수 있어요.
How?
나도 같은 생각하고 있으니까.
Thinking others have bad intentions just because you do is how criminals think, you know.
아, 꼰대질. 극혐.
Can't I just be the mediator here? How about one conversation? Yuri gave me a giggle and a smile.
만약 그 언니가 나 찌르려고 하면 오빠가 막을 수 있어요?
Yep.
그 언니 팰 수 있냐는 말이에요.
Can I hit a woman? I totally could. Never. We're talking normally or in this world? In this world, I don't think it matters so much. I'll say... I don't know. That's actually a pretty good question. We'll save it here. And we'll say never.
호구. 호구.
Hey.
싸움질 잘하면 뭐해요? 사람이 호구인데?
The word brawler is often considered quite an insult within the fighting community, so could you not?
예.
Seriously, the nerve.
아, 아파.
sorry.
바보.
She really didn't seem to take me seriously. How about we see what happens when she's all better?
뭐 어쨌든 우리 이제 친해진 거죠?
What? Did she have a few screws loose or something?
말 안 하고 쌓아둔 거 없게 해요? 뭐요? 눈치채 주길 바라지 말고 말하라면서요. 자기가 말해놓고.
Sure, all right. We're friends then. Her sneer seemed a tiny bit less abrasive than usual.
그래서 까놓고 말하는 건데요. 나 그 언니한테 아무런 악의가 없다고 해도 나가게 둘 생각 없어요.
Why not?
그 언니가 여기서 나가는 순간 나나 그 꼬마까지 이 세계 밖으로 튕겨나가 버릴지도 모른다고 생각하니까.
But you... So all that about her maybe killing you was just for show. And this is what you really wanted to say?
그런 눈치만 빠르네요.
And you're basing this all on...
감이요?
This girl was driving me nuts. Are you sure you're not just imagining this feeling?
그 언니도 비슷한 생각하고는 있을걸요?
What did that mean?
뭐 그래서 하는 말이에요. 오빠가 처음 그 언니랑 만났을 때 어떤 대화를 했는지 좀 떠올려봐요.
When we first met, why?
처음엔 오빠를 그냥 돌려보내려고 했다면서요. 경계를 넘어다니는 인간이라고는 상상도 못했을 거고. 첫날 했던 말들 중엔 생각 이상으로 중요한 이야기가 섞여 있을지도 몰라요. 내 말이 맞거나 혹은 틀렸다고 확실하게 증명할 만한.
After sending my mind spinning with the implication of her words, Yuri disappeared on one side of the mirror with a wave. Yuri sub-story. Unlock my right arm. Okay. Hey,
뭐요?
there's something I've been meaning to ask since we first met.
뭔데요?
Why are you wrapped up in those bandages?
뭐요? 이상해요?
Yuri turned to me, looking flustered. At first I thought you might have been hurt, but on closer look, that doesn't seem to be the case. So why are you walking around like a mummy? Isn't it uncomfortable?
지금 복장 단속하시는 거예요?
It's just an innocent question.
그 말 붙이면 보통 시비 거는 거던데.
I mean, there's gotta be a reason, right?
뭐야? 그렇게 걱정돼요?
I'm just worried about the state of your head.
참네.
Yuri burst out laughing for some reason. I had no idea why, but I felt like she was showing me what sort of reaction she was after.
뭐 그냥 징크스 같은 거예요.
A jinx ward?
말했잖아요. 난 여길 꿈 같은 거라고 생각한다고. 어느 날 갑자기 전혀 다른 곳에 와 있기라도 하면? 여긴 이렇게나 리얼한 감각이 느껴지는데 내가 현실에서 깨어난 건지 이쪽 세계가 변해버린 건지 어떻게 구분하죠?
Just carry a top around your pocket. Or just carry a top around in your pocket. If it keeps spinning forever, it's a dream.
여기선 멈추더라고요.
Then this isn't a dream.
아 진짜 말 돌리지 말아줄래요?
She did that whenever she was at a disadvantage.
뭐 아무튼 그냥 기분이 그래요. 왠지 감고 있으면 안정되는 것 같은?
Was she trying to hold down some of her curls?
여기가 그렇게 맘 편한 장소는 아니잖아요. 사소한 걸로 안정될 수 있으면 득보는 거죠.
There were some athletes that had similar techniques to calm their nerves, though I'd never seen anyone use bandages before. If she was resorting to means like that to calm her body and soul, it would be better just to leave. Why in the world was she keeping herself here? I wouldn't find out without her not telling me.
오빠도 한번 감아볼래요?
I'm fine.
에이, 혹시 모르잖아요. 오빠도 붕대 감으면 양심이 좀 생길지?
The bandages you're wearing?
아, 미친. 새 붕대 많거든요?
Judy pulled out a bandage from somewhere. I took a seat in one of the chairs scattered about the class, and she got straight to work wrapping me up. Hey, hold up a sec.
뭐요?
Wrapping up like this isn't some attempt at mind control, is it?
우리 이제 친해졌잖아요. 그런 거 안 해요. 할 줄도 모르고요.
Why was I suddenly sweating? Whatever, I'm done.
오빠.
What?
오빠.
Even if you try to trick me with that strange voice, I won't fall for it.
쫄았어요?
You dare go there, punk? A bit later, she had my body wrapped up in a pretty rough way. It didn't look like my mental state was negatively affected, so what was the point of being wrapped up like this anyway? Hey, it can't really be that, can it?
뭐요?
You wrap yourself up like that because you think it looks cool? I don't think there's anyone else here to point this out, but I'm pretty sure you'll be embarrassed by your choice in exactly 3 years.
아니거든요.
You already slapped my arm. She got one good one in, then I flexed and she kept on slapping me. We goofed around for a while, then I thought it was about that time and I was about to go to the hospital world when...
저기 오빠.
Yeah?
예를 들어서 말이에요. 내가 붕대를 감고 싶어지는 게 마음속 이미지의 문제라면 어떨 것 같아요?
Where is this coming from? You already avoided my gaze as she continued.
내 불안정한 마음이 표현되고 있다거나 그러면.
Then I'm sorry for picking on you for it.
거짓말이에요. 호구 같긴 진짜.
I saw sadness in her wide grin. Then?
뭐야 너? 다쳤어?
Oops. I forgot to take off the bandages before coming over to meet Hyuna.
다행이다. 다친 건 아니구나. 그럼 왜 붕대를 감고 있어? 설마 멋있다고 생각하는 거야? 미안한데 그거 딱 3년만 지나면
That's so not it. After that, I had a rough time explaining myself. However, seeing me wrapped up like I was hurt, unexpectedly, it seemed like it aligned with Hyona's tastes. At least that's what she said in that anxiety-inducing voice of hers. Unlock school quest, Yuri's World. We gain 5 shards. Oh. I mean, I don't really like these stupid little quests. More important than I may think. I thought about the day I first met Hyuna. Honestly, I could remember everything that was said on account of being so confused. What did she say?
책임져 줄까?
No, not that.
사라지는 문을 열고 들어가면 어디로 가게 될까? 알면 못 돌아갈 수도 있어. 도망치고 싶어서 들어왔겠지만 여긴 낙원이 아니야.
You came here because you wanted to escape. I was thinking I came in here because I wanted to be here, but was I remembering that right? That first day was so crazy, it's sort of all a blur. As I wandered idly through the hospital corridors, I realized I was doing nothing but risking my own safety. This was not the sort of neighborhood to be wandering through like this. This strange world where you always have the feeling something's going to pop out of nowhere. I looked around. There was nothing. The hallway was so quiet, I could hear the beating of my heart. Unless there was a ghost type here that came to eat sounds, there was clearly nothing around. A black creature, a red handprint, a disappearing door. There was none of that as far as I could see. Right as I let out that sigh, I thought of something suspicious. Was my timing right on the money to miss everything? Or was there maybe another reason? I tried to calm down my flaming anxiety. I made my way towards Hyunan's hospital room. But was I going the right way? I suddenly regretted letting Yuri go back there on her own. Then, as I was trying to walk as quietly as I could, the moment I turned one grimy corner, I saw the flash of a particularly chilling piece of steel. I had a habit of always keeping my guard up to avoid sudden punches from my coach, even those that had no chance of landing. He said I was wasting energy by doing so, but that habit saved my life. There was no feint attack, or this was no feint attack. It was a properly executed knife thrust aimed right at me. It got a lot closer to me than the outstretched arm holding it would suggest. I tried to grab for the arm that skimmed by the right side of my head, but the arm was pulled back instead of feeding into a combo. It was only then that I saw who was wielding it. Oh, that black hat, that black outfit, that long black hair? Huh? Miss Hyun. I tried to speak. She ignored me and swung her knife in another wide arc. I tried to parry her gripping arm and put some space between us, but the arm blocking the knife covered my part of the vision, covered part of my vision, allowing for an unseen high kick to fly in from that side. Ah, holy! I raised my backhand and stepped back, but I felt the sole of her boot brush against my forehead. It was like her kick was able to completely pass through my guard. No, was that an actual question mark kick? It was a rare sight indeed to see anyone who could reach my head with a kick. Miss Hyuna, it's me! It wasn't about keeping distance, but running away. I fell back, raising my guard, and looked to the front. I noticed that Hyuna was wearing boots with a bit of a heel on them. Even though it was a glancing kick, it hurt since the shoes had so much heft to them. On the contrary, the only reason I was able to avoid the out-of-the-blue strike was because the weight of them slowed her down. Who would wear those in an actual fight? These bad fashion choices were starting to piss me off. Why are you going straight to swing that knife around? Are you feeling alright today?
거짓말 마. 너 가짜잖아.
Excuse me? Hyuna was looking at me with a fierce gaze, her knife pointed in my direction. I hadn't seen this expression since our first meeting. It was a look that said she was out for blood. In a way, it felt like a gift to be seeing this face, but it was also really terrifying.
진짜 네가 왔는데 내가 어떻게 모르겠어? 오늘 그쪽 입구론 아무도 안 들어왔거든?
Well, that was because I didn't go into the main hospital.
넌 뭐야? 이제 그렇게까지 비슷하게 따라해? 그런 걸로 내가 속을 줄.
Yuna's gaze left my face. She looked at my different outfit and the big backpack on the floor behind me. Yuna's eyes got a little wider. I could guess what she was thinking. If it was a creature imitating me, there was no way it could have been a different outfit from the last time. It's really me.
저기 Yeah?
Sure is. Okay, I guess we'll do this one. And why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Her World running on the Steam Deck. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you with the next stream.